Well, friends, welcome back. Welcome back to My Hobby Home. My name is Cathy. If you're new, thank you for joining us. Today, I am finally working on a new project. This came in my Common Thread Sewing Room subscription bag a couple months back. We are working on the Villa Rosa Designs pattern, La France. Now, I have a charm pack here called Creativity Roars. Let's see who that is, by Creativity Shell. And when I saw this, when I received my bag, I instantly thought of my grandson. It looks like all of the fabrics are already cut to the size I need. So I have pulled out my first 12 blocks. And what I'm doing them, I'm sewing them two at a time together. These are my charm squares. And like I said, I'm just sewing them two at a time so I can start making 2 rows of 4 and 2 sets of 2. Because how this starts is you have a center square that I will be attaching these to. Now, I'm just doing this based off of how I see that it can be done. I read and it said start with the center square, lay out the first 12 charms around it, and then sew the first round of squares to the center. So it doesn't say how to sew it. So what I'm doing sets of 2s, then I'm going to do 2 rows of 4. And what I will do is take the 2 sets of 2s and put on each side of my center square, and then I'll put my row of 4 on the top and the row of 4 on the bottom. So this looks like it can be a weekender project. I'm hoping it is, because I would like to get a real quick quilt top in. Now that is all of my squares there. So I'm going to take them off my machine. I'm going to cut them apart and figure out which ones I'm doing. For the side rows, I do know that I have one right here that's going to be 1 set of 2. So that's going to be one of my sets. This one's going to be a top and bottom one. And the reason I know this is because I have patterns, and I want these going up and down and these going side to side. So this is going to be a top. I don't think I have another one like that. This one's going to be a bottom because it has that same design on it. So what I do is I just come in here and I pick out, okay, we're going to do this one here together. Do we want, no, that's got an orange right in the middle there. That looks to be a good one. So we're going to do those. This will be my other side one. I don't want to get 2 of the same base colors side by side. Now, am I going to be able to prevent that in the future? Probably not, but I tried to get 1 of 2 of each colors in this. Now, I did not want to put any yellow base next to that yellow center block because I wanted it to be well defined, you know, division. Now, I have borders that are going to be yellow. And guys, I feel like I need to change my needle again. I don't know why I feel like I need to change my needles so much, but apparently I need to. But I just realized this isn't going to matter because, well, it does come out at 36 by 45. So you are going to have a top and bottom. So it is going to make a difference. But we will be using, I think, 40 of the squares out of the pack. I think there's normally 42 in a charm pack. But I am excited. And I know Lori had gotten the same thing that I had gotten as well. And I don't remember if she got the same fabrics or not. If you don't know who Lori is, she's Quilting in the Country with Lori. She does do lives throughout the week, early in the morning, and then she does come back around 10 in the morning, I think, and does, this is all Central Time. And then she does another sew along. So guys, I'm going to press these and get ready to assemble them to our center square, and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so now I have my 2 sets of 2s here, and I am going to put this on the sides of my center block. I do pin this, so I'm going to pin on both ends. I forget, when you get these that have pinked edges, that pinked edge does not count. That's why I would rather just trim that pinked edge off, but I don't. I leave it there because sometimes I sew a little too much more than that 1/4 of an inch, and it's okay. Because a lot of times they use scant quarters, and I don't scant very well. What I'm trying to do is put the end of that scallop on the inside, you know, on that 1/4 foot. So I'm not lining it up, the edge of the scallop to the edge of my 1/4 measure on my foot. I'm putting that center, not the center, where it scallops in, I'm putting at the bottom of that scallop. There we go. Maybe that made more sense. And friends, if you have, I'm going to announce this too on my page. We have, I'm going to call her a quilting legend, because I've been watching her ever since I started watching quilting videos. Before I started quilting myself, we have one of our quilters that has put out her final video. She is saying goodbye for now, and she says she doesn't know if she'll be putting out any more videos, but for right now, she knows that this is, as far as she knows right now, this is it. Holly Schmidt of Dandelion Stitches has put out her final video, so if y'all watch her, please make sure to go to her channel and give her some love. She is having a difficult time, and her video will explain it all. I don't have to explain it here. That is her story to tell. She does not know me from Adam. I don't know her personally. I just know I love watching her. She's always such a positive and calm person to watch, and I really like that. So if you know who I'm talking about, don't miss going and telling her how much she has meant to you to be able to watch her. Okay, friends, I've got that pressed out, so now I am going to put my top and bottom row on here. Y'all notice I'm just grabbing, because it doesn't make me a difference which one goes on top, which one goes on bottom. This is going to be a very scrappy, creative looking quilt for my grandbaby. I do have to make these seams right here match, because I know when I give my granddaughter her quilt, my grandson's going to be my blankie, and we can't have that. So I have to have him one, because she's already got a quilt and he already has a quilt. So they both have a quilt that I've made for them. So this will just be a second one for both of them. Now my grandson has claimed his mama's quilt that I gave her for her birthday. He's claimed that is his blanket. He calls that his blankie. He may be saying blanket, but it's coming out blankie. And he gets very upset if she gets in the car and doesn't have her quilt in there. And I'm like, girl, pull out his quilt. Put that in there with him so he knows it's in there. She's like, he don't want that one. He wants mine. I'm like, well, you're going to have to put his quilt in the car. So it's kind of got me wondering what's happened to that quilt. Because they do have a visitor that comes a lot, and when I first saw my quilts in their other house, the visitor had taken the quilt that I had made for my daughter and had it hanging up in a window. And I lost my lid. Because it was one of the Cotton Cuts sew-alongs, and y'all know those kits are not cheap by any means. And then I had it long-armed. And I told her, I said, that's technically like having a $700 curtain. Because, you know, long arming is not cheap. And I think I had them to bind that one even, and that's an additional charge. Which, I mean, once I kind of get myself set straight, I will start binding my own quilts again. But right now, I just had too many going. And I think what I'll do is I may give these to my grandbabies at Christmas time. Because I know my grandson, he's going to love getting a quilt. He loves these blankies. He loves a good blankie. And I don't correct him. I don't tell him it's a quilt. That's his blanket. He feels, as long as he has that, he's happy. Anytime he gets in my vehicle, I have one that's been in there since they were little babies. And every time he gets in my car, he's like, Gigi, where's my blankie? And it's normally laying on the seat beside his car seat. But he thinks he has to have that blankie. And he knows it stays in the vehicle. He doesn't. Oh, yeah, I just said vehicle. Okay, y'all. We had a conversation about how we say vehicle. About how I pronounce all syllables, and a lot of people don't. Well, I don't know. I can only say it how I know to say it, which is vehicle. Anyway, my grandson knows that quilt stays in the vehicle, because if it don't, he don't have one when we go somewhere. And friends, I am actually sewing this on Saturday, the day that y'all see this. I have not done any sewing at all this week. And we just got back from having lunch with my sister for her birthday. Yesterday was my little sister's birthday. I never could get a hold of her, so I sent her a message on Facebook. That's about the only way I can get a hold of her. Tell her happy birthday, but we're having my aunt's birthday party tomorrow, and then tomorrow my husband and his family is having a birthday dinner for my father-in-law, and I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm going to be at my aunt's birthday dinner. Okay, so let's see what I'm doing now. I need to press, so one moment. Alrighty, friends, this is the center of my little quilt here. Now I'm looking, it does show that we have borders. Let me see what it says. Add a border. Now it looks like we've got 2 long ones and 2 short ones. So looks like what I may need to do is measure this out to see how long I need this, because this is by width of fabric. I don't need a full width of fabric. So I am going to first measure my sides, because that's what we're showing first. And then I'm going to cut down my strips to the size that I need. Okay. I may be able to get 2 strips out of this. I should be able to get my 2 side strips out of this, which will be nice. Let me get my ruler here. Now, I am doing each side separately because I don't want to mess up on my measurements. So I'm doing my side borders first. Let me lay that across there. And I'm just pinning on the ends, and then I'm making the center fix. So, but anyway, guys, where were we talking about? My sister, having lunch with her. We have a lot of things going on this month. So, I know I don't have any Saturday sew-alongs. It's because I'm catching up, and I know this is a completely new project, but you know, you kind of get burned out real quick on doing, if you do the same one over and over and it's not done, I kind of get burned out and I need to see something different. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing, this is a quick and easy, fast. This should be fast. I should finish the whole top today. You know, this should be an easy couple hour top, finished top, not the whole quilt. And that is what I'm doing for this one. Now, after we do the other border, I will then press and measure for the top and bottom border. And that one should, of course, it's going to be longer than this one. So I'll have to use 2 separate pieces to make my top and bottom border too. And then after we do another row of our charm pack, we will have a top and bottom row on the whole quilt. Now, friends, y'all probably haven't seen me doing too many shopping hauls where I go and buy fabric and stuff. But that's because unless it is for a project, I am trying to not buy. Because here I am destashing, trying to get rid of a lot of stuff in here. So, you know, my declutter is going to be a crafting room find for sure. Because I'm thinking not only like this pattern here, I got this in a bag, but probably not only will I declutter this pattern, but I'll probably also kit it up with you know, fabrics that you can use to make another one of these quilts. And actually, if this is a free pattern, what I may do is go to the website and print several of them out and kit these up. I will probably make one of these for my granddaughter too. That way they both have like the same quilt, but just in different fabrics. Hers will probably be in butterflies or something like that. She's a true girl's girl. I mean, she's girly girl for sure. Alrighty, friends, here's our center part. Now I need to put a top and bottom border on this, so I'm going to take my tabletop off. I will measure it off camera, and then I'll cut my border down off camera. Okay, friends, now I am pinning this top or bottom row border rather onto my quilt here. I got a caul in the midst of me pressing and measuring here. So we are going to just get this border on and the top border, and I will have to check back with you guys later because I have got to get somewhere today that I was not anticipating that I was going to be needed, but apparently I am. So my sewing day just got cut. I'm not going to get to sew as long as I was hoping to. But just the fact that I was able to get into the sewing room has helped today. You can probably tell I'm still a bit nasally right now. I do still have what I'm going to just call a summer cold. That's what I'm thinking it is. I'm just still doing the things that I have to do to get it to go away. Everybody here has it. Everybody. But you know, when it's 104 one day and the next day it's 74, yeah, you're going to have somebody sick. And apparently my immune system is not boosted enough and it just goes bad. Seems no matter what I do, it still happens. But I am feeling good. My biggest thing is, as long as I take a rest when my body tells me to, I do fine. In this past week, my body has told me it's needed a lot of rest, and I've given it a lot of rest. So, friends, I hope when we come back and do the updates on Monday that I do have this completed, at least the top completed for you guys, because I'm sure what I need to do won't be very long. And I want to get this video out to you guys today, which doesn't take me very long when it's a short video like this one. We're only 35 minutes in right now, so I was really hoping we weren't going to have to leave until later, but my husband's already said he's going to pick up the table. We're delivering a table to my oldest daughter. My sister got a new table. Well, it's her mother-in-law's table. Her mother-in-law has moved in with my brother-in-law's sibling in another state. So they've had to clean her house out. She has sundowners, and it's the same thing as Alzheimer's, except it just gets bad at night, in the evening time. And so she requires 24-hour care because it's progressively getting worse. So they've moved her in with her other son that lives in another state, and they're cleaning her house to have it put on the market to sell. And so my sister got her dining table, and she's given my oldest daughter her old dining table, which is huge, heavy. It is something else. It's a huge dining table. But my sister said, you know, this weekend is it. She wants the other dining table out of her house. But they had somebody that was going to come and get it, but they haven't come and got it. And they've been waiting on them to get it for over a month now, and they've just not done it. So my sister said, let Alex know, which is my oldest daughter. Her name is Alexis. I've called her Alex since before she was born, because I knew I was having an Alex, regardless if it was a boy or a girl. I did not know what she was until she was born. But I have called her Alex her whole life. And a lot of people think that's a boy, and it's actually a girl. Her name is Alexis. I don't really say my kids' names on here very often. I have 3 children. I have Alexis, Olivia, and Zachary. Those are my 3 children. Alexis turns 30 in November, and that's hard to think that I have a 30-year-old this year. Olivia, she turned 26 this year. She'll turn 20. Let's see, her baby will be 3 in December, and she was 24, so she'll be 27 this year. And my last child is Zachary, and let's see, this is 26, so he turned 24 this year. This is the middle of the quilts I will be making. What I will be doing is putting another row of the charms around this, and then I will do a top and bottom border of this yellow. But friends, this is all we're getting done today because I do need to run. I hope y'all have enjoyed your sewing time or just sitting and listening to me chit chat. Once I edit this down, you'll probably get about 25 minutes, maybe 30. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Before you head out, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you next time, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, friends.